Hey, welcome to the Deep Rock Sports Extra. We're going to start the show off here today with a look at Lady Tigers softball. And I've got, Coach A here at the desk right now. Coach York couldn't make it in. She's planning on being here next week. One of our other comrades, Elton Willard, usually does this segment a little bit. He got tied up with families and things. So we put you on the spot, Don.
Yeah,
we know that we can fill this segment here. But hey, let's talk a little bit about what happened this past week with Lady Tiger softball. They go down to Chandler last Monday and take on a tough number 6 Chandler Lady Lion team. They get beat 11-2. I think Coach York said that they just gave up a lot of hits there, but wasn't the game that they looked. But sometimes you had those kind of games.
Well, yeah, and Chandler's pretty good. The guy down there, I can't remember his name. He was down there. He started like right towards the end of my career. Real young guy, very enthusiastic. Really works hard with those girls, and he's brought Chandler up, you know, to a good ball club. And so, that's a loss you can take. I know you don't want to lose ever, but that's one you can take.
Well, here's one that meant a lot to Coach York, and they go to Davenport, and they beat Davenport 6-5 last week on Tuesday. And of course, Coach York is from Davenport. That meant a lot to her.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a win 6-5. Davenport typically known for softball.
Typically a good ball club. Always field good teams. Always good hitters. You can always hit in Davenport. And I think one thing that Coach York brought with her from Bristow, but because she was brought up in Davenport, was the fact our girls are really hitting the ball well this year. Everything that I've seen when I go to the games, everything I've heard from Coach Short, because I see him periodically, is our girls are really, really hitting the ball a lot better than they have in the years past.
Yeah. Well, they played a total of 7 games this last week. Then they go to Cleveland, at Cleveland. They win 2-0 in a victory there. Josie Hood getting a win pitching. And so she's been really good on the mound for the Tigers.
She has. She's been very solid. And then you need, as you get down to the later part of the year, which we are now, because districts, I think, are next week, that's the girl in the circle really controls the game. You can hit as many balls as you can, and you can play defense as best you can, but you got to have a girl in the circle that knows what she's doing, can take control of the game, and control the players around her. Sometimes that's a hard position to fill.
Yeah, one of the fun trips I think the girls look forward, the team looks forward to in the course of the year is the Hall of Fame Festival. They didn't play at the Hall of Fame this year, but they go to Mustang to play.
Yeah, because they're doing some work at the Hall of Fame.
Renovation.
Yeah, they're renovating the Hall of Fame. So going to Mustang isn't quite as exciting as getting in those dugouts that are underneath the field and coming up onto the field to play. But when I was coaching back in all the years that I did softball, I used to love to go to the Hall of Fame Festival.
A lot of fun times there.
Always had a good field. Always had a great umpiring crew. And they just took care of you. They always took care of us.
Well, it kind of gives the girls a chance to get that big time feeling a little bit, kind of a college atmosphere type thing. And
especially if you play on the big
field. On the center field.
They put their names up on the board. They got their numbers, so while they're standing there getting ready to hit, they can see their name. Kind of like our boys in football now. They have that thing, and that. That's a little extra, little cherry on the Sunday.
Well, always a fun tournament. They go down, they play Panama. They win 7-0. They take on Kanawha, win 5-2, and then they get beat by a tough Marietta team 6-5 in that Saturday contest. And then they end up playing at Heavener, and they win that game 6-1. And so overall,
it's a pretty good week.
A pretty good week. 7-2. Yeah. They end up 17-9 so far on the season. Coming up this next week, Pawnee. They'll travel to Pawnee to take those guys on, and then they'll be back here at home on the 23rd for take on Pawhuska.
Oh, is that how that's going to go?
Yeah.
See, we used to play Pawnee and Pawhuska on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday we always played Meeker. So we always did a 3-way up in Pawnee with Pawnee and Pawhuska, and then on that Tuesday we'd play Meeker. And on Thursday you're in districts.
Yeah.
You're.
Yeah. Well, they did have a draw for districts, so we are hosting at home for districts the 29th, and so there'll be a lot of good softball action here at high school field here the 29th, and then let's see, is that the? I'm sorry, that's senior night, the 29th. And then we'll be hosting Berry Hill for districts on Thursday, October 2nd.
That's good. I was talking to Coach York, I don't know, probably, well, over here, when she was here last week, and I said, are we gonna host? And she's like, I don't know. And I said, I promise you, if you put in for it, we'll host. They love Cushing. We always do a good job. We always take care of the teams that come in. We have a nice facility, and it's just getting better and better all the time, with all these renovations that are happening, and we have a nice place to play. We have plenty of places for the girls to go out and have food if they need food. And so I told Coach York, I said, hey, it doesn't matter what our record is, it doesn't matter if we're ranked or not ranked, I promise you, if you put in, we'll get it. And then you hope and pray that you get like a Douglas or a Spencer,
Yeah,
or something
John
like
Marshall.
that, something like that to come up and play. But hey, Berry Hill's going to be, that could be pretty tough.
Well, Lady Tigers 17-9, ranked number 16, and looking for a good finish to the end of the season. Thank you, Don. All right, coming up now, it's time to look at Central Tech, Technically Perfect, with Ish Engel. And welcome back to the Deep Rock Sports Extra. And joining me now is Ish Engel with our Central Tech, Technically Perfect. We can take a look at last week's game stats with Cleveland. 35-7 win for the Cushing Tigers, a big win. It was really all over after the first half, I think, Ish. But let's go through some of the numbers as, again, you'll be able to tell us here, I think, that Cushing had a very diversified offensive attack, got a lot of people involved in the game, a lot of things going. So let's go through some of the numbers here.
You said totally, and yet we still had 7 ball carriers this game. Leading ball carrier was Ian Jones, 119 yards on 11 carries. It's averaging almost 11 yards per carry for him, including that long 57-yard touchdown, which was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, Ian Jones has really been looking good, as of late, and running with a lot more confidence and a lot of, just really purpose running, and he really looks good.
Yes, he does, and it's overall showing on the whole team. We had 334 total yards, 247 of that was on the ground. So over 130 split up amongst 6 other backs, which, where are we coming from? That no one still knows, and that's a really good thing for us. The big things here also, we had 45 carries, 10 penalties for 80 yards, and no turnovers. What really jumped out this week was more of the defensive statistics. Coach Hancock put together a heck of a defense there. The third down efficiency, they were 1 for 10, were Cleveland. They also had 0 for 1 on fourth downs. 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, all lost, and 1 pick six, which was also a thing of beauty.
Well, and as you say, turnovers always make the difference, it seems like, in a lot of different ways. So no turnovers for Cushing. Can't ask for any better than that.
Oh, no, yeah. And then the other question that I told you I was going to ask you is, why are they punting the ball to Trey? By now you'd think that people would figure out that he's a Devin Hester clone, and if you give him the ball, he's hitting the end zone. And I think they just had to test it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if the scouting report just didn't come in, if it's late or whatever, but, obviously they could see before that he's ran a couple back, for, I think, 99.5 yards and another punt return. And again, he does the same thing again Friday night.
At least 1 return for a TD in each game so far. Yeah, he's...
Yeah, well, Trey is becoming a notable weapon that we have on the defensive side, on the return side, as well as running that long sweep around the outside and him making catch there with that. So Trey Morris, a nice weapon for the Cushing Tigers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Got the speed, got the moves. What'd you like to see? Good vision.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about special teams, what showed up the other night.
What we saw in special teams, actually Cleveland, we found out that their punt team is pretty darn good. Their punter averaged 42 yards per punt.
Apparently he's getting a lot of work out throughout the game. He's having to punt quite a bit.
8 total punts. Cushing only punted 6 times, and we saw that was the big thing there as far as special teams.
Passing yards for Ian?
Ian had he had 87 passing yards, 3 attempts, 3 completions on 5 attempts, all in the first half. We didn't need to throw in the second.
Really, when you don't need to really throw the ball and you can run it effectively like he had. What's the word on Dakota Lee? Any idea there?
What I heard was that he had a minor knee and shoulder injury. Both of them were really minor, but they were precautionary, and that he'll be good to go next week. So I expect to see him on the field.
Okay, good. Well, speaking of next week, let's talk about Perkins. Because
the main quarterback, he's a senior. So far this season, 30 completions on 50 attempts, which is pretty darn good, 60%. 399 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. They've also had Dylan Longbreak in there. He's a junior, and he's got one completion on 1 attempt for 22 yards. As far as rushing goes, I found 5 rushers for them. Jacob Payton, senior, has had 49 attempts. He's their main horse, 456 yards, 8 touchdowns. Zach Bledsoe is also a senior, 19 attempts, 135 yards, and 1 touchdown. I love this nickname, Thunder Sharp. He's a senior. He's had 2 rushes, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Sean Crosby, 9 rushes, 41 yards, and a touchdown. And then Longbreak has had 5 attempts, 10 yards.
Well, it'll be an interesting game. So anyway, we appreciate it. Thank you, Ish.
Yes, sir.
And that's been a look at our Central Tech Technically Perfect. And we'll be back with more of the Deep Rock Sports Extra right after this.